in a sense, you could say that this blip that we're seeing is almost a last ditch effort to see if, well, maybe we can go back to the way it was. And I don't think it can, personally. And I think that our role, as I've said before, is, when you think of the concept of the midwife plays an important role in the process of some of the most important transitions, certainly the birth process, that, as we know, midwives are there for the birth process of birthing something in. And yet there's a whole movement now of people who would call themselves midwives for the dying, who hold that same sacred role of being a sacred force of love and strength and grounding and service to that process of transformation, whether it be birth or death. And I see that we are in this phase where that paradigm of the bully, of win-lose, is on its way out, and that it's our job on a certain level to play the role of the midwives, to try our best to usher in with strength, with love, with service, with skill, what is being ushered in. And as I've said before in these meditations, that is, in a sense, the calling for someone who is devoted to lasting peace. That there are people who are out there on the front lines who really want to see radical change happen, and they're serving a purpose. They're serving an important purpose. However, if we're only looking at that from the sense of drastic change, quick change, then we're just going to be penduluming back and forth without any strong foundation being created. So the purpose of what we're doing is holding a different space, that while there are people who are committed to drastic change, who are those that are really committed to the idea of lasting change? And it's almost like the image that I have is, if a dam breaks, there are those who are definitely necessary to get down to the dam and stick your finger in it, for the Dutch people, or to patch up the holes. That's the drastic, immediate kind of like emergency room ER tactics that are needed. However, there can also be people who are coming in from the sidelines, who are finding ways to redirect the overflow of the water into other ways, so that they lower the level of the water, which is another way of mitigating the damage that can happen if there's an overflow of water coming through a dam. It's a more long-term thing. It's more of a sideways thing. It's not addressing the problem head on. And I think that there are enough people who are trying to address the problem head on, and who are those that are holding a different space of approaching it from more sideways, a more meta, as you can say, perspective. And that's what the purpose of this is. Who are we as beings that are really holding out for what lasting peace could be? That's the hard work. That you can sign peace treaties, but the peace treaties isn't going to make people love each other. The peace treaties aren't going to make people work well together. What are the skills of working well together? And that is, in essence, what respectful confrontation is, the work that I've developed, and where this exercise comes from, the idea of a core exercise and focusing on lasting peace. Who are we in the world as empowered beings, moving through the world with a sense of fierce compassion, to feel empowered within ourselves, to be able to take care of ourselves, set our boundaries, and have the effective skills to have a beneficial impact on others that is lasting, and that cultivates and deepens relationship, and helps to through creating safety and trust, to help ourselves and others transform our viewpoints, our habits, and our patterns, so that we can find lasting change in our culture. So, like I said, these topics are really up for me at the moment. They're up in our society. And I want to use that as the context as we start our meditation. And for those of you here for the first time, we'll be doing a meditation. I'll be guiding you through it. There's no right way to do this or wrong way to do this. It's about finding your way. It's about finding more an embodied sense of compassion, an embodied sense of open-heartedness and personal empowerment. And I work with the concept of the core, your center. Chinese would call it the dantian. The Japanese would call it the hara. And the way you can find that, to investigate that, is if you put your fingers together and you place your navel over your belly button, if you place your index finger over your navel, and your fingers are still together, where your pinky resides, that's approximately the width of 3 fingers below your navel. And from there, bringing your attention from that point inside of your body about 1/3 of the way, so that you're identifying and connecting with a spot that's the width of 3 fingers below your navel, 1/3 of the way into the body from the front. In essence, that's what you're focusing on. And when I say your center, that's what I'm referring to. So we're going to start this meditation, if you haven't already started, sitting in a way where your spine is straight. Try to be as still as possible. And with your spine straight, it's not a sense of tense straight. You want to try to still see if you can keep it loose and open. Taking a deep breath into your center, into your lower belly. Sitting in a way where you're elongating your neck from the back of your, lengthening from the back of your neck, so you're tucking your chin in a little bit, your jaw is relaxed, belly is relaxed, and become aware of the contact, what parts of your body are making contact with whatever you're sitting on, whether it be a chair, a cushion, the floor. And using that as a contact point of bringing you in the present. Feeling the sensations of the parts of your body that are contacting the chair, the floor. And from those points, seeing if you can let your nervous system relax and yield, and in a sense, letting yourself be held. It's an enormously healing process, just this practice of kind of serenading your nervous system with "you are held." Allowing gravity to bring you closer to the ground. And actually recognizing that gravity is a force. And the more you yield to the force of gravity, the more you can tap into its resources, to its source energy. Bringing your full awareness, your full attention to your center, a place of personal power, impulse, creativity. The width of 3 fingers below your navel, 1/3 of the way into the body. And your center, this place in your lower belly, being the part of you that opens to awareness, that perceives. As we gain more access to our awareness, our thought patterns become less powerful over us, and we deepen our sense of listening and connection and presence. And that provides us access to our wisdom. So from your center, become aware of your physical body. Just listening. It's all you're doing from this point on. Let the body talk to you. From your center, become aware of your emotional body. As we come into the present, we become more aware of how's our body talking to us through sensation, through tension, through heartbeat and breath. And we gain more access to our emotions and aware of which emotions are influencing us in this present moment, which cultivated in a skillful way could create more emotional stability and flow. From your center, become aware of your mental body, your thoughts. Not a question of listening to your thoughts, but how are your thoughts at this moment? Are they spacious and loving? Are they tight and judgmental? Racing like a train? Still? Without judgment, simply notice. And maintaining a sense of awareness in your center as the foundation of this exercise. And with that, bringing awareness to your heart, or the middle of your chest, where I would say your heart power resides. Respect, understanding, compassion, love, connection. And both from your center, your personal power, and your heart, ask yourself the question, how connected do I feel at this moment to something larger than myself? Not a question of dwelling on what that is, but simply the connection of whatever that is. Allowing energy to flow through you, emotions to flow through you. And with more of an awareness of yourself in this present moment, as we've just done an inventory of yourself physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, taking a nice deep breath from your center and from your heart, in through your nose, out through your mouth. With more of an awareness of yourself at this moment, in this present moment, keeping your eyes closed, from your center and from your heart, opening to a connection with your surroundings, your immediate surroundings. In front of you, behind you, to the left of you, to the right of you. If you happen to know without having to look at a compass where north, south, east, and west are, tapping into that. Above you, below you. From your center and from your heart, engaging with your surroundings, sounds, smells, light, temperature. Observing how you might be at this moment are being influenced by your surroundings, or how you might be influencing your surroundings. Placing yourself in your surroundings, in a context. And with more of an awareness of yourself and your surroundings at this moment, from your center and from your heart, take a full breath in through your nose, and out through your mouth. And with more of an awareness of yourself at this moment and anchored into a context, into the surroundings you're currently in, wherever you are on the planet, from your center and from your heart, open to a connection with those who are sharing this meditation space with you, who happen to be in various parts of the planet, the Netherlands, various parts of the United States. Can you feel them? Can you actually impact them simply with your presence and your awareness? And can you be impacted by them at this moment? From your center, your personal power, and your heart. With more of an awareness now of your connection with your fellow meditators, take a full breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. And holding on to this sense of it may be expansion or whatever you're experiencing now with connection with yourself, your surroundings, and your fellow meditators, circle of fellow meditators. Expanding your scope of how your personal power and your heart power can expand out and reach others. And opening to awareness of all human beings on this planet. And at this present moment, focusing on different groups, at this moment, from your center and from your heart, with a connection with yourself, your surroundings, and your fellow meditators. Opening to a connection with those that you would call loved ones, friends, colleagues, family, partners. And again, the same two instrumental questions for cultivating resilient compassion, resilient power, and fierce compassion. How courageous do I feel at this moment, even if they're on the other side of the planet? How courageous do I feel in impacting them? And how courageous do I feel to allow them to impact me at this moment? Notice how that feels and let that flow through you. All feelings are welcome. As we continue to develop our capacity for resilient power and fierce compassion, from your center and from your heart, opening to a deeper connection with those that you would call strangers. Realizing that that's most of the human population. It's a lot to connect to. Can you feel someone in Buenos Aires at this moment celebrating a wedding? Can you feel a little girl suffering somewhere in Botswana? And whether you feel it or not, just practicing, cultivating the capacity to connect and engage is the practice. From your center and from your heart. And as we continue to practice increasing our capacity for resilient power and fierce compassion from your center and from your heart, opening to a connection to those that you might consider adversaries, maybe even enemies. How might you be impacting them at this moment? And how might they be impacting you at this moment? And now with more an awareness of yourself, your surroundings, your circle of fellow meditators, and your awareness of connection with all human beings, whether they be loved ones, strangers, or adversaries, from your center and from your heart, take a deep, deep breath in, deep into your heart, in through your nose and out through your mouth. And holding on to that sense of expanded capacity, or whatever you're experiencing right now. As you hold on to that state of being, bringing your focus now to a connection to your fellow meditators in this circle. Bringing your awareness and focus, bringing all human beings into our circle right now. Keeping that sense of awareness, of expansion, now bringing your focus to your surroundings, bringing the whole human family and the circle of meditators into your surroundings. And finally, taking that expanded sense of all human beings, your fellow meditators, your surroundings, right into yourself, into your personal power, into your core, and into your heart. And with more of an awareness of yourself, your surroundings, and all of it, more particularly with yourself at this moment, as a way to close this, take a full breath in through your nose, and out through your mouth. And take a moment and just do an inventory of what your experience was, how you feel now in comparison to how you feel with when you started. Any learnings, any challenges, any insights. And slowly open your eyes and shake it out. Mhm. So as I say over and again every week, this is a practice that we do on a regular basis to increase our capacity. We're stretching muscles. It's like going to the gym. We're stretching our compassion muscle. We're stressing our heart muscle. And as we know, the more we practice, the more we train it, it becomes more resilient, it becomes more powerful, and it becomes more effortless to actually do the things we want to do. And if we want to increase our scope and capacity of having a beneficial impact on our planet, this is a fabulous way. It's not the only way. I don't know why I use the word fabulous, but I use the word fabulous. To cultivate a sense of being in that, so that, and the more you are it, the less you have to do it, the less effort you have to put into alleviating the suffering of others, creating an environment of civility, of creating trust and safety for others, for them to go through their own transformational experience of tapping into their highest self. So, just a fun little assignment for you to think about. Does anybody have a quick couple of words of how this meditation was for you? If this is your first time or if this is your 11th time? Anything that came up?
Sure. The reason I'm out here in California is to give a couple of presentations, one today and one tomorrow, to a conference, and of course I've been working very, very hard to develop a clever and informative presentation, and I got in touch with a deeper underlying thread about trust and compassion that in both of these presentations that seems to me to have the potential to really get to where I want to be instead of trying to be an impressive, smart, informative guy. It was very connecting from here to what I'm up to out here was really helpful. Thank you.
Nice. Thanks, Tom. Thank you.
Well, I actually loved this word fabulous because today that actually connected with my experiences, or just this sense of like the richness of each piece. And like I just thought, like, if I just befriended gravity and concentrated and like really was aware of being held, that in itself is like a whole universe to be with. And I suddenly got also like a big part of this journey of doing these meditations with you is really like getting more stretching into comfort being impacted and impacting. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. I was reminded in a big way. I had a lot of resistance about getting on the call this morning, the earlier call and this call, and bringing that with me and being reminded of that necessity in transformation. And in this meditation, even on a physical level, like my stomach before getting on was just kind of tight and almost bloaty, and it feels more supple and light right now.
Thank you for bringing in truth, Tori. Thanks for bringing in truth and presence. Thank you.
I had a full body jolt and tingle at bringing in all of humanity into this circle. It was a pleasurable experience, and it was surprising.
Yes. you don't have a full thing to share, maybe just share what we always do to close is just share a word or two of what you're aware of, what you're feeling, how this meditation was for you.
Open and connected and peaceful. Well done.
Right. Nice.
Me, it's gratefulness, being able to do this with my 8-year-old sitting right next to me and only feeling the love of him being so compassionate about what I'm doing as well. So I've never felt my heart so open to my beloved ones, being so close to me. So thank you.
Hey Rover,
Hey.
hoe gaat het met je jongen?
Goed.
Oké.
Feeling a sense of expansion and a nice still peacefulness. Thank you.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. You can type in, or you can. You don't have to say anything. Whatever feels right.
Well, I had some technical difficulties trying to unmute. I had to go through a whole settings kind of thing.
Okay.
So that's why I was gone for a little bit. I learned this morning that my mother had a stroke and she's in Germany in a hospital and not very responsive. So for me, it was really, it was really interesting to connect beyond her to my enemies, so to speak. And just to hold that space. So, yeah. And I kind of like just floated in and out because, you know, thoughts are taking over.
Right.
So, but it was good to come back to being just present in my body and being present to your voice. Yeah.
Thank you, Chris. And I'll do prayers for your mom. Definitely. Okay, anyone else? All right. Well, thank you for being here. And for those of you who are coming on a regular basis, I have deep, deep, deep gratitude. And thank you for holding this with me. A vision that I think is already here, and it's just up to us to just help clear away the confusion that's keeping us from seeing more of it. And let's dedicate, as we always do, let's dedicate all this energy we created. I'm certainly going to dedicate some of this for Chris's mom, with beneficial energy and for her well-being, for Chris's well-being, for ourselves and endeavors and projects we're working on. May they succeed. For those of us who are struggling, may they find their way to peace. As I always say, may all beings on this planet have enough food and clean water. And may all governments govern from a place of wisdom as opposed to fear. Let's take one final breath. And if you think of it, try to see what pops into your head or your heart of one person that you can maybe invite for next week. See how that feels. And I look forward to seeing you. I'll be in the Netherlands next week, so it'll be a different energy. Okay. Blessings.
Thank you.
Thanks, Shelley.
Love you.
Love you.